Hello, this is Small Biz David, and yesterday I said good morning as I opened the show, and believe it or not, that caused some controversy. Should I be saying good morning when in other places it's good afternoon, and we had some UK folks on at that time, so I think I've agreed to say good day, and I'll say good day to Carmen Rojas. Good day, Carmen Rojas.
Good day, Google World. How is everyone?
Carmen, first I have to say this because you will always be something very special in dreaming with entrepreneurs in Google Plus. And you know what that reason might be?
I do not know.
You were the absolute first member of the community. I had set up the community, set it up, and somehow, I don't know, you and I might have been connecting that day, whatever. You saw it right away and you signed up. You were my first member, our first member.
That touches me, David. I don't know what to say. Thank you.
You just said it. That's all you need to say. Well, to me, it's real important, and I don't know. I guess it was about a month ago, maybe, and now we have over 100 members of the community, and it's not about how many. It's not about how many folks there are. It's about what can we do in the community to make an impact on each other's businesses.
Absolutely.
Because that's the real spirit of which I set up Dreaming with Entrepreneurs in Google Plus. The most important concept in the success of any small business today, particularly one that's getting started. And you know, you and I have had this conversation before, that a spirit of collaboration must be in play, because we all need each other to help our businesses grow, and you can help me because you bring some value to whatever it is I'm doing. I can bring some value to whatever it is that you're doing, so we have an impact directly on our businesses. But together we create a new force in the marketplace, and together that the combination, that collaboration can bring new value. So that's what it's all about. And thank you for being the first member of the community. And one reason among many reasons that I enjoy speaking with you, Carmen, is that I am from the old school entrepreneurs. I've been doing this for over 40 years, and you absolutely represent what I call the new breed entrepreneur. And I think it's very important. It's very, very important. And it's important that I communicate and share whatever it is I can share with the new breed. But we do live in a different world. The world that you are building your business in is dramatically different than the world that I built my first business in. So first, to get started, just tell us a little bit about what it is that you do and why you do it.
Okay. Well, I am the proud owner of a company called Rojas Consulting, and the goal and the purpose of that group is to educate companies about their customers and give them as much concrete information as possible about the customers. And the end goal is that so companies can then design products and services and offerings that are 100% in line with the customer base that they're trying to reach. Excuse me. So we use a lot of digital marketing channels, analytics, metrics, all of that fun stuff, bunch of logic, some nice Excel spreadsheets and things like that to provide that information to medium and large size companies. So that is what Rojas Consulting is about. My presence here on Google Plus, and I think the reason why I found it to be so much of a welcoming, inviting place is because it really speaks to my entrepreneurial spirit. And what we do here on Google Plus is to try and share with other entrepreneurs all the lovely things that they don't tell you in MBA school, and I can vouch for that because I went and got one the old school way. And then all those other things that you would have to learn through trial and error, which is expensive and painful and time consuming. So if my presence here on Google Plus cuts through all of that and allows other entrepreneurs to be successful, then I'm successful. So that's my twofold purpose for business and for also for Google Plus.
So if based upon what you just said about the customer, it's more about engaging new customers, or is it equally as important how to maintain those customers and enhance the customer experience? I'm sure it's the front side of that when you talk about digital marketing.
I think it's both, though. I think nowadays companies have to straddle both sides of that fence of attracting new customers and maintaining the current ones. It's actually much more cost effective to maintain the current customer that you have. But that current customer, because digital changes so fast and social media and the internet changes so fast, they're like new customers all the time. With the pace that Twitter changes and even Google put out the new Panda 4.0 came out today. All of that fun stuff just changes everything so fast that it's hard to even say what's an old customer. So we do a little bit of both.
Do you talk much about lifetime value of the customer? Is that part of
Absolutely
what you share?
Absolutely.
Well, the reason why I'm asking these questions is another member of our community. And he's been a friend of mine for approaching 10 years now, and his expertise is in the area of the customer, and so I want to put the two of you together because he absolutely represents the old breed of dealing with the customer. You represent the new breed of dealing with the customer, and there might be some interesting synergies that come into play there. So I'm going to get you together with a friend. His name is Ed Butcher. He's also a member of the community.
Cool.
So you might reach out to him and just say that David thought it was a good idea for us to get together. Or I have a scheduled conversation with Ed tomorrow, as a matter of fact. I'm going to make sure that I give him your name.
Absolutely. I mean, we're always looking to learn new things. I never claim to know everything, so I'm always open to learning from other people.
Well, what do you got? What do you have on your lap there? You better introduce that individual.
This is Jax. He's annoying, but he's decided to join us for today's show.
Hi, Jack.
I'm sitting in a room that gets more light. These old houses here in New England don't have overhead lights. So I'm trying to sit near a window so that the light comes in, and so he decided that he needed to be in the light too. So there he is.
He's not a Weimaraner, is he?
Oh no, he's a Dachshund. He wishes he was a Weimaraner.
Well, I only saw his face. So he's a Dachshund, his body. Oh yeah. Okay, he's got. Oh, there he is. Okay. I just saw two Weimaraners yesterday, and the faces were remarkably the same.
Yeah, they're part of that hound original hunting dog thing. So yeah, this is Jax. He's a Dachshund. He's our second animal.
Okay, well, welcome to today's HOA broadcast. You are now world famous, Google famous.
Yeah, I keep saying we need to do a show like me and Mia with Bob Voss and some others with all of our pets on camera. So
actually, we threw that out there. Has that been done yet? Because we were talking about that about a couple months ago.
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but I never saw it. I mean, I think it'd be cool with and get Dennis Deuce and Lullaby, the giant Great Dane, and that would be a fun show.
Dennis doesn't hesitate to have his dog a part of his productions.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about today, email marketing. About 4 weeks ago, you did a posting on email marketing. You probably have done many of them, but on that particular day, I read it, and it was very intriguing to me because I used to do a lot of email marketing before I got involved in Google. Since I've been involved in Google, the only email marketing that I really do is of the personal nature, where you kind of get out of the technology, the Google technology, and send them an email. So, talk. Where is email marketing today, Carmen?
I think email marketing is still very, very relevant to any business, and the reason why is because it's the only way to really own your contacts and own and the reason why I say that, and I know that that's kind of a strong statement, is that if all your contact and all of your outreach from your business, all your outgoing messages streams through social media, then what happens when the social media changes or closes for whatever reason? We've all heard, let's just say, for example, that Google Plus really did shut down. We all know that that's not going to happen and that was a big hoax, but let's just say that it did. How would you get to all of those leads that you had, or all of those people who were following you and engaging with you, if you're not tracking, if you don't have their email address? So you would completely lose all of that. Same thing, Facebook changes their algorithm, and you might find that things happen. Your account gets hacked. Stuff happens, and all of a sudden your account closes down. I've seen that happen too. I have a good, Laura Williams works with me a lot and has had a similar experience. So keeping, for the number one reason why email marketing is so relevant is because it's a good way to actually own your information and own your contacts. If you keep your email list, as long as you have an email address, you own that. There's nobody that can come and they can shut down Facebook, Twitter all day long, but you still have emails, and email isn't going anywhere. So
I was going to ask, did Google make a change, or did I do something that I didn't know that I was doing? I am not getting email notifications. I never did any change to my settings, and where I used to get many email notifications every day about HOAs and HOAs that I had registered for. Have they made a change to that? Because I'm not seeing those. I haven't seen them all week.
I've noticed that there's been a change, and I don't have the answer as to why, but I don't think you're the only one that's noticed that that's changed.
It doesn't bother me. Quite honestly, it doesn't bother me because we can get into the event stream, but which you almost have to anyways, because the email that Google was sending out was only giving you one or two comments. And maybe their subject line to you, you know how they used to say, so-and-so mentioned you.
Right.
Well, sometimes when you opened up that email, you didn't even see that mention. You had to go back into the stream and find it. So it wasn't very useful email. And maybe they just said it's not very useful. Let's forget about it. We don't need to do it.
Right. I mean, and the other reason why I think businesses need to continue to use email marketing is that it does work. I mean, it actually has great conversion rates comparatively. I mean, you got to remember conversion rates. When we talk about good conversion rates, we're still talking about, single digit to low, 10, 12, 15%. If you get anything over 20, you've really hit a gold mine. But in terms of comparing to the other marketing channels and things like that, it's cheaper, it's just as effective. It's something that businesses still need to do. And so if you're, questioning it, it's not as sexy, it's not as cool as social media marketing, but it works. It just takes a strategy in place, and it can work for you.
Do you follow any of the and you won't follow them in Google because most of them do not have much of a Google presence. But do you follow any of the big email marketers? And the reason I'm asking that question, and I might have to give you a few of their names, I just 10 minutes before we began today, I got an email from Ryan Dice. Does that name mean anything to you?
It does not ring a bell.
Okay, Ryan is a group of, he's in the inner circle of a group of about 50 or 60 email marketers that have made a fortune using email as their marketing strategy. I have a feeling that it isn't producing the same kind of results today that it did. And I'm not just talking about conversions either. I'm not talking about just conversions. Um, I think what's happening is, these guys pound those lists. When I first was paying a lot of attention to email marketing, they were pounding the list 2 or 3 times a week. And it got to the point where they weren't keeping my attention at all, because you could very quickly figure out the pattern of why they were using email, always trying to sell something, always trying to sell something instead of necessarily giving me some information that.
Right.
So I went to the subject line. As soon as I read the subject line of the email, I knew that it wasn't going to provide much value to me.
Well, and I think you have to use the same, it's in social media, it's called the 80-20 rule, and it's something Guy Kawasaki really put out there, and that 80% of what you put on social media needs to be, it's kind of content curation and all of that fun stuff, and then the 20% is your stuff, selling yourself, your own, products and services and offerings, all of that. And I think the same thing applies to your your email marketing. One of the people who I love their emails is Peg Fitzpatrick, who works for Guy Kawasaki, but she puts out these great, newsletters and things like that come from their email, and it's about 80-20, in terms of what it is that they are promoting or trying to get you to do. So I think that's always the risk, is that you become spammy, if all you do is self-promote. So you really do have to kind of become a place where people can go to find trusted information. And if you can do that, 80% of the time, and 80% of the time it's other people's stuff, then it gives you a better image, and you just don't look spammy.
Share, if you will, Carmen, some information about email and email automation. I actually had a relationship, in my old days I had a relationship with one of the largest email marketing automation companies. I don't anymore, but they have a program, and based upon their thousands of customers that they have, it is a proven program, and they're always testing, always trying to interject new things. But talk a little bit, if you will, about automation of email, the whole process.
And I'm assuming you're talking about, for example, one of the ones that even I use is MailChimp. And I don't mind throwing their name out there. But in terms of for entrepreneurs, I always try and spin things back to them. One of the hardest things I think it is as an entrepreneur, particularly if you're a solopreneur, is to how to have time to do everything. I'm talking about, email marketing, and I don't want that to become, oh my gosh, it's another thing on my list that I have to do to be successful. And using an email automation is a great way to spend some time setting it up. You do have to spend the time at the front end of it to set it up correctly, but the whole point of automation is so that you don't have to spend hours of time coming back to it, and it just kind of runs on its own. That's automation. So using whatever system that you prefer, we're fans of MailChimp. There's Constant Contact. There's tons of them out there. But spend the time in the beginning to set it up properly. Keep curating a list. Most of them have like a sign-up thing that you can put on your website. It needs to be part of your social media strategy to get people to sign up for your email list. All of that, and if you do it right, if you spend the time in the beginning, it saves you time in the end, and it pays dividends to you once you build a list of people, and you can send out your message and get conversions and results.
Is the double opt-in more important today than it was, let's say, 5-6 years ago?
Legally, yes. You can get into a whole bunch of trouble if you are not giving people an opportunity to say, I don't want to hear from you. So make sure, even if you don't use an automated system, which I don't know why you would, but if you were doing it on your own, you were just using your own Gmail account and emailing people and all of that, you just have to make sure that you're giving people an opt-in and an opt-out, so that if they don't want to get your information, they can tell you that.
Is it a fair question to ask how big your email list is?
Or oh my gosh.
Is that something proprietary that you don't want to necessarily share?
Let's just say it's probably in the four-figure range of how many emails that we have. And they're from a variety of places, and not all of and it varies, depending on we've kind of strategized ours out so that we have a list for for the entrepreneurial offerings that we have, and we have a list that's segmented towards larger and smaller businesses, and some by industry, and that's where we go a little bit Excel crazy with the pivot charts and all of that fun stuff. So, but again, that's why email marketing is so helpful, because we can do that very easily.
Okay, 5 things from Carmen that folks need to be thinking about when doing email marketing.
Oh, wow. 5 things. Number one, make sure that you have an email sign up on your website. It can be in the sidebar, whatever the little badge is. You just want to make sure that you have that. Number two, make email sign up a part of your social media strategy, so that when you're putting out, following that 80-20 rule, make part of that 20% about signing up for your emails. Number three, make sure your emails have good content. If you're going to go through all the work of steps 1 and steps 2, and then you put out crappy emails, that just defeats the whole purpose. Number 4, make sure that you are keeping your email list up to date. So all of those people that have opted in and opted out, you're keeping track of that, and you know who to send to and who not to send to. And then I guess the 5th one would be to take advantage of other people's streams. So if you can, when you're getting started, particularly as an entrepreneur, your list may not be 4 figures long. So what you want to do is see if you can tag on to somebody else who has a larger list than yours. If you can add an offering or have an article in somebody else's newsletter and things like that that links back to your site, that's a great way to grow your list. So just stay at it. It will work. You just have to stick with it.
Are you familiar, Carmen, with the affiliate email marketing programs that are out there where you have a product launch of some sort and you line up 100 people who will send that product launch out to their lists, so that it's not just going to your list, it's going to 20 other lists. You give them a percentage of the sale. You're familiar with that whole?
I've heard about it. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was just wondering, is it as big a business today as it was when I was doing email marketing, and that goes back, I'll bet it's been over 5 years since I've really done a serious email marketing campaign.
I would say yes and no. I mean, I hate to be evasive, but the business has changed. Obviously, when you didn't have so many social media platforms, the reliance on email was stronger. And since that now, social media has become more of a force in communicating messages, that they've had to change the email way that it works. So it's still there. There's still people making money off of it. Is it the same as it was before? No, it's not.
How would you like to be? I'm putting you on the spot now. How would you like to be? How would you like to be the chairman of email marketing inside of Dreaming with Entrepreneurs Google Plus? And I'm saying this, maybe it's a service offering that we ought to throw out there if people would like to get together to do some email marketing that they're doing. Does that make sense?
I would love to talk to you about that. Let's see what we can do.
Okay. Now let's before we break up this session, let's talk about a very, very interesting topic that you're going to be doing an HOA on, and I highly recommend anybody watching to go at 1 o'clock in just a little over an hour now. Mm-hmm. To your HOA. Talk about what it is, and just tease us a little bit with where the discussion is going to go today.
Well, today it's called the Camel Jacket Chat HOA. I'll make sure and post the link here when we get off. Um, and this is again that opportunity for me to share with entrepreneurs what's worked for me in growing my business. And I have on a gentleman's name is Robert Dunbar, and he is absolutely one of the nicest guys. And he's been very successful in his own brick and mortar traditional entrepreneur endeavors, but has recently become one of the top salespeople for legalshield, which is a multi-level marketing company. And he approached me a long time ago when we were back in Jacksonville and tried, to recruit me into multi-level marketing. And I'll be the first one to admit it doesn't work for me as a salesperson. But one of the things that I found highly useful was being able to take those concepts and apply them to my traditional business and make it work. And I think there's no doubt that MLM works. There are people out there making thousands, even millionaires off of MLM. And even if you don't like it as a salesperson, it kind of has that stigma of, they're chasing people all the time and that's all they ever talk about and da-da-da-da-da-da. But Robert's not like that. And he's become, like I said, one of the top selling legalshield agents in Florida. And so I really wanted him to come on and share with us not just how he did it, why did he make the change over from a traditional to being a part of a network marketing company, and what can he advise those of us who are going to stay in our traditional business strategy, but what tools and tips can we pick up from multi-level marketing and apply and make our businesses grow?
You mentioned legalshield. I have a great testimonial for legalshield. I've never been involved in the multi-level marketing aspect of legalshield, but I had some friends that were, and one day I got a note. It's about 4 years ago. I got a letter from the state of Ohio saying that my name had been. Are you still there? There she is. Oh, we lost her for a second. That my name had been, kind of stolen. It was on a computer in the back seat of an intern who was working in one of the Columbus, state of Ohio offices. Did you catch? Have you heard everything I've said? I know you.
Not quite, but I go ahead.
Okay, I was talking about legalshield, and I was saying that about 4 years ago, I got a note from the state of Ohio saying that my name was on a computer. My name and personal information was on a computer that was stolen out of the back seat of an intern working for one of the state offices in Columbus. So
oh my gosh!
When I found that out, I called my friends up immediately, and I said, I hope I'm not too late, but I need legalshield's services right now. And it's kind of like ex post facto. Well, it just so happens that my personal information didn't get out there. I was never impacted that way. But I found legalshield to be a very good investment for me. It was a good insurance policy.
Absolutely. I mean, I've had it. I've had a couple of different businesses. This is, not the first one I've done, and I've always had it, and it's bailed me out more than once. Of a situation, things I should have known better about, things I couldn't have avoided, and even just to have them available to ask a question to. They prevent problems. That's one of the best benefits I see, because you can call and ask them, hey, what do I need to have on my email form? How do I do an opt-in? Can I get all of that? And they will tell you that information so that you don't run into the problem. So yeah, not to do a testimonial for legalshield right now, but it is, and for entrepreneurs in particular, it is a fantastic service. I mean, $20-ish a month, depending on where you are, gives you access to an attorney whenever you need one. Yep. And that's, you just can't beat that. I mean, that's better than the rate we charge. So
I was I many times, I try to do it once a month. I would throw a legal business question to that pool of attorneys where I was networked into, and I got some information, and then if I needed to get deeply into it, either they would take it on, or I would go to my personal attorney and take it on. But it was a a great source of business legal information for. And once again, not necessarily to testimonial, but well, I think the point I'm trying to make here, Carmen, is that there are some multi-level marketing, and I've known about the concept for 15, 16, 17, 18 years. I've never been one to, like you said, personally get involved in it, but understanding the concepts of marketing, and you talk about building relationships, that's what multi-level marketing really is all about.
Absolutely, and you know, they're doing something right over there. I mean,
You have
multi-level
somebody else,
marketing is
you have
not
somebody
new.
else you need to introduce to us today?
Yes, she came in from being outside.
Well, hi. How are you? What's your name?
She can't hear you. Hold on.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi. What's your name?
What?
What's your name?
What's your? I know how old you are. You're. Show me how many fingers you are. How old are you? There you go. Your mommy told me you're 3. You're a very good 3-year-old. You know how old you are.
All right. Well, it's lunchtime here, so I hate to do this. I'm going to have to run on you.
No problem. No problem. But thank you for taking time, Carmen. I know Wednesdays are very hectic for you, and we will continue this discussion at a future date. Thank you for your time today.
Yeah, one of these days we will definitely do a full hour.
Yes, we will. Okay, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, there was Carmen. Carmen has been a good follower of mine, if you will, and she has been very supportive and challenges me with things, and you know how I like challenges. One thing, and I'm only going to give a little bit of information today, but I am working, and I'll be able to introduce it early next week. I'm working on the concept right now. I have, you know, one of the major themes of Dreaming with Entrepreneurs and Google Plus has been monetization of HOAs. I actually said publicly back in November, as I was building my 2014 business strategy, that monetization of HOAs was going to be an important part of my thinking, my doing, my activity, and I was going to figure it out. While we are well on our way, I have a conceptual proposal in front of a national brand right now about HOAs, and it will definitely generate revenue, not only for myself as producer of the HOA, but the program that I am creating, I will need the support of other HOA producers. So I will be able to place advertising sponsorship, if you will, in other folks' HOAs. I'm not going to go into detail, but it's how I'm building the program that I am. So as I am talking and sharing and researching and trying to figure it out, I am talking to a national brand. I'm not going to mention who they are because we're in discussion. But based upon the discussions that I'm having, I really see the opportunity to localize the concept. I'm trying to do it on a national, kind of global basis, but I see the opportunity to do the same thing I'm doing, but do it locally. Now, the strength to that is Google is putting a lot of emphasis on local. So the concept is fitting right into the scheme of things. If you follow me, if that's of interest to you, and you want to become an associate producer of an HOA locally in your market, it'll be a fantastic business opportunity for you. So you'll hear more about that later. This is Small Biz David. I will see you tomorrow at 11:30 Eastern Daylight Time Not on Friday, and probably not on Saturday, where we have our actually have our community meetings on Saturday. My oldest son is getting married on Saturday in Columbus, so I am leaving Friday morning to spend the day with my granddaughter, who is coming to Columbus, Ohio, from her home in Rome. And I actually haven't seen her since she was 2 weeks old. However, I do hang out with her at least once a week. So she is getting very familiar with the Google Hangout on-air technology. And interesting enough, when up until about 2 weeks ago, my son was setting up the Hangout on his end in Rome on his iPhone, but just and Eloise could hear me, but just the way he had it set up, she couldn't see me. Well, the last couple weeks, he is doing the Hangouts on his desktop, and now Eloise can see me, and there's a whole new, talk about engagement, there's a different engagement from just listening to somebody to where you can actually see them. So I'm going to see Eloise on Friday, and obviously I'm really looking forward to it. But sometime the week, either on June 9th or June 10th, haven't worked out that date yet. Eloise is going to be sitting right here, and we're going to do an HOA together. So that will happen so either June 9th or June 10th. I have to work those dates out with her parents. This is Small Biz David, and thank you for taking time. And thanks to Carmen for sharing her expertise on email marketing. If you have the time at 1 o'clock, about 45 minutes from now, to listen to Carmen's HOA on multi-level marketing, I highly recommend it. Of course, you can always see it in its recorded version if you aren't able to be there live. Small Biz David, and I look forward to seeing you the next time, which may very well be the best time. See you then.